It's about to get real. And I'm telling you right now, you are karmatically in the right place. You have done all the right things. If you are watching this right now, even though it's pre-recorded, if you're hearing it right now, it was meant for you. You are meant to hear this in this moment so that you can have that aha moment of like, holy cow, those things didn't work out for me, and it's okay. Because it's only gonna go up from here.
Welcome to I Am Her, where spiritual meets spicy, F-bombs meet forgiveness, and shadow work occasionally throws glitter.
Welcome, everyone, to I Am Her, episode number 14.
I did 41. I meant 14.
Depending on which way you're looking, if you're watching the video, could say 14, could say 41, but it is 1-4.
You get the idea.
Yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, 14.
Oot, oot. That wasn't even woot. That was weird.
Woot, woot.
I said, oot, oot. Like, where are we right now? What part of the globe are we in? I don't know.
What is happening?
Anyway, I'm Thylene.
I'm Emmy. And we are so glad you are here with us. It's going to be a good night. It's already started out like it's been a wonderful evening, and we're just going to
transformative
talk about it.
Yeah.
So today is December 12th for those of you that are listening later, and we'll tell you why that's significant once we get into the meat of the episode.
We gotta find a better name. I cannot. I digress.
Yeah, so Thylene, are you feeling better? Because last time we met, you were feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. My 9-year-old has been sleeping with me. And it's challenging because we're moving right now, and so everything's out of place, and like where we live right now, her room is all the way on the other side of the space, which is very roommate, right? Like I can't even imagine. Anyway, the point is she's been sleeping with me, and the chick is a like sleeping bomb. Like she just arms and feet everywhere. I feel like, you know how I bought like a new duvet and like all of my sheets, everything's new, and there's like the tags on the end that I haven't taken off yet, but I'm like, it's okay, I'll leave them on, because when I get ready to clean them, these ones are actually expensive, I want to treat them right. And so I left them on, and they're at the end of the bed. And when I wake up in the morning, they're in my face. Like the blanket has not only just like, moved around, but has physically shifted and rotated. So, and it isn't always like this, but this week, not only has just been a lot of, I've been in my head space and need to release a lot of stuff, 12, there's that, but then on top of that, she's been attacking me all night, and so I just haven't slept. And when you don't sleep, at some point you act like a drunk person, and so I've just been not myself really. But also it's kind of cool though too, which sounds really weird because I'm so tired that I'm just kind of out of it, and I've been so like, whatever happens, happens. Which is how I live. Like, I try really hard to live my life that way, like I have processes to keep me in that space. So who would have thunk if you sleep deprive yourself, it's a lot easier to get there.
Oh boy, I have some sleep deprivation stories later on. I mean, we probably don't have time today, but some pretty funny stories. So we'll loop back to that later or another time. So
what's up with Em in Em's world?
I went to the office today, went to the hospital on my 1 day a week, and it was really funny because I alluded to on the last episode, there's some big changes coming in my life, and I can't really I can't really talk about what they are just yet, but when I was at work today, it was almost like, I mean, I always enjoy seeing my coworkers because I do have great relationships with them, but now that I have a goal in my head of the things that are coming, it was almost just like on autopilot. It was not, I wasn't frustrated, I wasn't anything. Whereas before, had I not had these goals in my head and something to work forward to.
Would you say that you were neutral?
Yeah, just kind of original, regular. So, yeah, it was just kind of I wasn't nervous. I wasn't, not that I'm nervous going to work, but sometimes you just go in there like wondering what kind of shit is going to happen today. Like, what does this day have in store? But I don't feel that, the last few days.
Interesting.
I think it's the mindset shift that's just coming with the plans that I have for my life and for the future, for me and my husband and my family. And and it's just
that's beautiful.
It's just wild. And something else I wanted to mention, kind of backing up a little bit, my husband and I went on kind of like a staycation last weekend. We went down to Fort Collins, Colorado, which is like not an hour away maybe. And I have severe PTSD from a car accident that I was in back in 2007 with my kids. And normally, if I'm a passenger, I get really, really nervous. I just don't deal well with it because I have no control over the situation. But for the first time since 2007, my husband drove down because he wanted to test out kind of how the new car drove on the highway and everything. And I did not feel like I had no nerves, like whatsoever. Wow. And it was just so crazy. Now on the way back was a little bit different. Not his fault though, because we decided to come up a different way on I-80, and we live right off of I-80, which is one of the main drags for trucking. And I mean, it runs all the way across the United States. And so I was very, very close to the trucks, and they were making me very, very nervous. And so I was white knuckling, and my butt cheeks were clenched a little bit. But
but you made it, and you're here, and you're good. And you had an experience where, for the first time, you were able to like let go and breathe and be okay, which is huge.
Yeah, it was big because it's caused a lot of issues for me personally. And within my relationships, because I just get so nervous and, certain things like I have a hard time going in the car with other people if I'm not driving, just because I get super, super nervous. Not that I don't trust them, but just because I have no control over the situation from that car accident. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's just and that was kind of right after I made some major decisions that were going to happen next year, that I was completely at peace that day. It was just so
interesting,
wild.
I love it. So cool.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Okay, now it's time for Tarot Time with Thylene. It's not long enough, so I needed it twice.
I'm here for it.
Anywho, while you're pulling a card, I just want to tell everybody that my love affair, it's still happening behind the scenes, but I'm kind of two-timing on the front. On the front end, I'm back to LaCroix. And then on the side, I still got the Olipop coming in. But I found me a new flavor. Cherry lime. And look, it has a cute little butterfly on the can.
I love it.
Isn't that so cute?
So freaking cute.
Yeah, cherry lime, fuzzy water.
But I want to talk about mine because I got cacao, ceremonial cacao. And today is my first full day of drinking it, but I've been obsessed. So I'm excited to talk about my journey with cacao.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it because I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, I'll send you a little something and we can talk about it. But
okay.
Then I have my Olipop on the side.
You got your side piece. My side piece is out waiting on my kitchen table. my little strawberry vanilla side piece.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, today is the Justice card, which is no shock to me because where we are right now is we're in one spot right before 2026, but not quite there. Is that the card you got at the event?
It's the Justice card is the one that I pulled at the Cocoon Butterfly Movement event in June.
It. But also, so I got 5 of Swords. I wasn't going to pull a second card, but when we had the in-between time, I decided that I was going to pull one, but I didn't know if I was going to share it. But the 5 of Swords, one of the words on this card is bullying, which you and I get because we were just talking about that. So I just thought that was kind of funny. But the focus, the focal point of today's card is the Justice card. And what this is like karma. And when we think, or when we say karma, a lot of times it's like in a negative sense. Like, bitch, you just got your karma, right? That's not this kind of karma. This karma is everything that you put into 2025 is going to come to you tenfold in 2026. Like, the justice is going to be served, but in a way of like, justice is served based on everything you put in. You are just going to reap the rewards. And this is like the honesty and truth, because you took accountability over this last year and you did a lot of the work. It's okay that you're not done. It's okay that your work is like an ever-moving cycle. But as we move into the new year, like, your finances are going to settle. And I don't mean like they're going to trickle out and go away. I mean like the instability is going to settle and you're going to take off and just blow 2026 out of the water. You are going to have like equality and harmony, like balance is coming in for me right now. Like, I can see the scales balancing right now. And you may be called to make a decision. I know that over the last few weeks, I've had to make a lot of decisions and they just keep on coming. And I feel like they're going to continue to come as we go throughout the rest of this year. And this energy is going to lead into January. So it's not like January 1st comes and all of this stops and then something else happens. For the collective, this energy goes past January and into a portion of February. And the 5 of Swords, for the sake of what the energy is right now, this is just telling you to choose your battles wisely. This is just saying, as these choices come through, don't make any hasty decisions, right? Like, you've already served your justice. Your karma's already done. So don't freak out. When things come your way, know that it's coming so that you can make these last few decisions of this year so that you can clear your platter and add the new stuff to your platter for the next year. I feel like there's some loss or setbacks that happen for the collective. It's happened to me at like every stop, so it must be true. The energy that I'm seeing is you go for something and then it doesn't happen, or you think that you're really aligned and then all of a sudden it's like the rug was pulled out from under you and you're like, whoa, that wasn't cool. I'm not aligned. What am I even doing? Like, what was this whole year for? And I don't want you to think of it in that way. I invite you to think of it in a way that's like everything's clearing for 2026. And if it didn't happen for you, or if it was taken away, it was for a reason. Don't force anything. Let it happen. Take a deep breath. Let everything happen, like unfold is what I'm hearing. Let everything unfold so that as you go into the first full month of the year, you have already kind of had these rocky shifts happen, these little conflict pieces, and they clear out so that in February, when the year of the horse comes, shit just pops off. It's about to get real. And I'm telling you right now, you are karmatically in the right place. You have done all the right things. If you are watching this right now, even though it's pre-recorded, if you're hearing it right now, it was meant for you. You are meant to hear this in this moment so that you can have that aha moment of like, holy cow, those things didn't work out for me, and it's okay. Because it's only going to go up from here. It's only going to get better. Okay? So I hope that resonates with you. I hope that you can see what I'm saying about the karmatic shifts that are happening, that you've already done the work, and now it's time to reap the reward. You're still going to have challenges that come through for you, but stand in your power, know who you are, and don't make hasty decisions. Let the conflict move through you. I promise you, it will make sense come February. That's what I got. Oh, thank you. All right, Em, over to you.
Okay, all right. Oh, nope.
Ding, ding, ding. There you go.
There we go. All right, it is time for the Soul Word segment. Okay, so tonight's Soul Word, as we moved last time into Soul Word cycle number 2, here is another word for you to contemplate and write about. This word is uncertainty. Okay? And the reason I chose uncertainty is because at the time when I was going through my hardest times, uncertainty wasn't really a concept. It was actually my reality. I didn't know how things would turn out. I didn't know how I was going to rebuild my life because I didn't feel like I could rebuild anything because I was kind of in the thick of it. You know, I didn't know who I would be on the other side of it once I was able to get there. I just knew I had to keep going even though I didn't have all the answers. And so there were no timelines, there were no guarantees, there was no nothing, just the uncertainty, just day after day. And I had to make the choice to stay in the present anywhere. And I think that's where my transformation actually happened, when I made that choice to stay in the present, even things that didn't make sense, or when they did make sense, I just had to accept the uncertainty and just move through it because I knew I had no other choice. And I think the uncertainty is the hardest part, and not knowing if things would get better. And there were times when I didn't feel like I could survive it, but still I knew I needed to wake up and just do the next thing, just take the next step. And I think it's really important to tell yourself that uncertainty doesn't mean that you're failing. Uncertainty doesn't mean that you made the wrong choice, and it doesn't mean that you're behind, and it doesn't mean that you're weak or you're lost. And I think uncertainty doesn't necessarily have to be something negative either, because even though I'm kind of attributing it to my transformation and how I felt, like literally right now, I feel a little bit of uncertainty moving into the next year because it's new territory for me, what I'm moving into, and it's just all new. And so I'm a little uncertain about how it's going to look, but not in a bad way. it's kind of a different uncertain than how I felt when some days I didn't even want to wake up the next day. It's a completely different uncertainty. So I feel like just understanding that it doesn't mean something is wrong. It just means something is changing. So just really dig into what uncertainty means for you. Like for me, in the end, in the grand scheme of things, uncertainty obviously didn't stop me, but it shaped me to who I am now. So just take that and just just feel it, let it flow, just let it all out on the paper. If you're typing it, whatever. Yeah, what does uncertainty mean to you? If you're just the beginning of your transformation, or if if you feel like there's light at the end of your tunnel, what does it feel like now that you're about to come out of this tunnel into the light? What does that uncertainty feel like? So that's what I have.
Boom. So just to touch on that quickly, I would argue that if you don't feel uncertainty, then you're not growing. And we were just talking about this earlier in the group we were just in, that we kind of crave, once you get to this point of healing, like you crave that uncertainty almost, like, because you don't want to be stagnant, you don't want to be the same. So maybe that's something that people can think about as they're writing about uncertainty, is like, where does it set for you? Are you fearing uncertainty? Are you looking at uncertainty as like a stepping stone? Or, and if you're not, can you shift, after you figure out where it's coming from, can you shift that mindset to see it as the stepping stone and welcome it, as opposed to repel it? So just some questions that people can ask themselves as they're going through it.
Yeah. That's good.
That's good.
That's
so
real
good. That's real good. Awesome. We are dorks. Are we getting to the... Oh, God, I want a better word.
Let's get to the heart.
Better. I'm in.
Now we're at the heart of the episode.
Okay.
That's just kind of a place filler until we can think of a different word, but heart works for now.
The vibe.
The vibe.
Whatever. We'll work on it. Today is 12/12. And so we want to talk about this because it is a portal day. And for those of you that aren't deeper into the woo-woo, this time it isn't about like a full moon. It's timing. Time is alignment. But anywho, we were in a group for the 12/12 portal and we went through a lot of amazing things. And so I thought it would be really good for us to talk about our 2025. Like, I think that one thing that people don't do enough is look at how far they've come and just sit down and take a moment and write out a list, because that's what we were doing, of all of the things that you've accomplished. And it can be physical things like I got a promotion or I got a new car. Those are great things. But for me, I found a lot of my list was like, I became who I am. I became who I was meant to be in this lifetime. Like, I found purpose. It was, I felt things, like I grew in certain ways. And so the list was more about my growth emotionally and mentally than it was about the physical, which is interesting because anytime I've ever done that exercise in the past, it's always been about someone else. So it was like, oh, my kids were successful, right? Or this happened with my kids and I was really proud. Or it's been, I gained a monetary thing. And that shit was nowhere on my list. And you were there, I got pretty emotional. Do you want to talk about your list at all?
First of all, I just also want to point out that you got your lashes done today, so crying wasn't the best idea.
It wasn't. And then I sat there for the rest of the episode, like, combing my lashes because it, like, got messed up a little bit. And it was, like, poking me in the eyeball. And I was, like, trying to be part present and, like, yeah. That's okay, though. It was transformational in multiple ways.
I did see you brushing your lashes, and I was kind of chuckling about that because that was...
Yeah, I was trying to be all... I mean, I'm very blunt, and I don't give a fuck about a lot of things, but I didn't want to be, like, distracting. And so I'm, like, just trying to, like, you know... And nobody can see that. If you're listening, I kind of ducked my head.
She batted her lashes at the camera.
I sure the fuck did.
Yeah.
Anywho,
so I think I focused on some physical stuff, but in focusing on what I focused on, it tied into my transformation, if you will, because what I said was that I started 2 businesses. I created a story writing method, and we started our podcast, and I spoke on stage twice. And that, to me, is transformation because, I mean, it took fucking years of healing in order to get to the point where I would be able to speak on stage and be on this podcast. Because when I used to even do lives, my knees would knock under the table and I would just be sick to my stomach. And now here we're like fucking all over the damn world. And I also mentioned that I started to recognize what others were seeing already and telling me pertaining to my worth and my abilities, because for so long I was stuck in this place of, am I good enough? And so this year has really been humongo fucking transformational for me in so many areas. So
yeah, I think that if you haven't done this exercise before, please do it and report back. Go to our website and tell us how it went, because I think that this in itself, when you physically can see what you're grateful for, when you physically can see how far you've come, because I don't know about you, Em, but I'm an overachiever. I'm a recovering people pleaser, but I'm also an overachiever. I go balls to the wall for everything that I do. And that's probably, for lack of better term, not what I should say. But you get the gist. I am so incredibly grateful that because it's been a long time since we've done that exercise. Like, for me, it's been since the passing of David.
Same. That was the last time I did it, was when we were doing the Ultimate Achievers. And
same.
Before he passed. I haven't done it since then. And even then it was so, compared to this year, it's so much greater, and I think it has more meaning, because I feel like before I was just kind of going through the motions of just writing down what I accomplished, like you said, got the car, got the job, whatever it was, things that didn't really, I mean, I don't want to say they didn't matter, but in the grand scheme of things, I didn't take it as serious as I do now.
Yeah. So, and I think that's what made me so emotional, is I hadn't done that in almost 3 years. What? That's crazy to say. I feel like 2 years ago I might have touched on it because we did like a group. Anyway, it's been some years. And I personally now, with where I'm at with growth and my journey, I sometimes can be, and this might sound crazy to everyone who is like just starting your journey, depending on where you are in your journey, But I am a completely different human being. Sometimes, like, day to day, even like hour to hour, like once I release something, I become a whole new version of myself. And it's such a beautiful thing. I wish we could share this with everyone and make it make sense for everyone. But everyone has their own journeys. And that's why you have to listen to different podcasts and figure out who you relate to. Because whoever speaks to your soul is what's going to pull you out of the now and bring you into where you have movement. Anyway, off track, off topic. But my point is that I think the reason it was so emotional is because I'm constantly like, not that I don't give myself grace, because I definitely do, but I get these like smaller achievements and I'm so used to getting bigger achievements, or I'm pushing for the next thing. I move on to the next thing very quickly, and I don't give myself enough time to be grateful for the fucking shit I just went through and what I did, the messy middle, right? Like when you are sludging through the mud and even if you make it to the other side and it's such a small thing, you gotta be grateful for it. And I am. I guess what I'm trying to say is like I am, but I haven't sat down and just looked at my achievements all together, if you will. So that's what I'm saying. Write them all down, because I feel like everyone deserves to feel how I felt tonight. I was immensely proud of myself. I was overwhelmed with emotion with what I've accomplished. And I actually now feel like I have a new starting point of where I'm at right now and how I want to not only work like the next couple of weeks before we go into the new year, but really start framing like what I want and getting clear about my 2026. All that to say, definitely make a list. That's what that's what really just kind of set this whole thing off for me, and really just see where you're at. I do want to talk about I
want to interrupt you real quick though, because okay. I do think that's why I think I was feeling it just a little bit early when I was talking about just feeling, like there was a weight that shifted when I made the decision to, make these changes in my life, that, I didn't feel so overwhelmed, and I felt just like this sigh of relief, because the 1212 portal, if you're not familiar with it, you can certainly go look it up, but it's about alignment and it's not about the hustle of things. And that's something that I've really been thinking about the last couple of days, because I'll take example the other day when we were talking about, maybe it was last week or the week before. Anyway, what'd you do today? And I was like, oh, nothing much. I went to work and then I built a website,
Yeah, yes.
I think when you get wrapped up in the hustle, you don't think about that what you're doing is accomplishing something, and it is in alignment with, if you love to do it, it is in the alignment with where you're going. And so today when I was making my list, I thought about, when we were speaking on stage, because I think back to when we were doing it and I was like, that wasn't very long, but that's just where my brain was at the time. We didn't speak for very long, but that's okay. Just all this stuff. But the fact is, we spoke on a stage. We have to think outside of the hustle and the actual thing itself and what the meaning behind it is.
It's so funny that you say that, because my next thing that I was going into was like integration, not hustle, was literally my next like kind of topic. So it was a perfect segue, because
that's so funny, because I was just I'm not even kidding. I have in my little notepad here when we first decided we were going to talk about this, I literally have integration. Oh, I moved. Integration over intention. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wild.
Yeah. I think that we are definitely aligning as we go through this. Like, our brainwaves are together. Integration, not hustle, really has a lot to do with everything that you just said. It's about the alignment and the action, not the end result and the intention. And what what I hear right now is like, shoot for the moon, land with the stars. So it's okay to have those bigger goals that live really high up. That's totally fine. But alignment will take you to one of the stars instead of the moon, and you're on this star and you're like, but I didn't get to the moon. No, babe, you made it. That's why I want you to make a list so that you can sit down and look at everything that you've done before this moment to even get to where you are now. And that's where the magic lives. And then also, I do want to say, how do I say this? So it's like, once you see, you can't unsee, or you can't go back to who you were when you know who you are. And that sounds, when I say it in my brain, it sounded a lot better. But saying it out loud, I feel like it's so true. Like, if you know, you know. Right? And if you don't know, that's why you're here, is to get into here's that stupid word again, to the guts of it. Like,
the meat of it.
Trenches, the meat, the trenches, the heart. This is a safe space for you to come and work through those things and hear what we've said, because we are at a point where we've gotten to this higher level, if you will. And we're calling you up. That is what we're doing right now. We are saying, hey, bitch, we love it here. I want you to come. Come experience this. It's the shit. And a lot of walls will come up when people are trying to make that decision. Do I want to take that step forward? Because once you do, it's really hard. Like, patterns will show up and challenges definitely happen. But you can't unsee the beauty of the path, the human design, the heart space. You can't unsee it. And you almost crave more of it once you start. And again, full transparency, that does not mean that you don't end up in the mud again. You most certainly will have a really big awakening and like breakthrough and end up in the mud again. And you're like, what the fuck? This is not what she said. She said rainbows and butterflies. I called about rainbows and butterflies. What is this? No, there are a lot of rainbows and butterflies, but the challenges keep coming. You just have a better understanding and mindset about them to where it shifts. Am I on point for you, Em? Like, am I?
Well, yeah, and I think the shift
I get really passionate, and sometimes I don't make sense. And so this is why Em exists, because she makes sense of what I'm saying, and then she explains it better.
To me, when you say the shift, I feel like that means, at least to me, it just means that the integration is when the lesson stops living in your head and it starts actually showing up in your life. So when you say shift,
preach.
That's what I think of, is when it's out of your head and it's out in front of you, you're actually doing. And it's the whole mindset shift that I was talking about. And it's that moment when you respond differently instead of just understanding why you used to react. You respond differently, your boundaries become more on instinct instead of requiring the effort to put in. All of this happens when the shift happens. You know?
I agree.
Does that make sense?
And yeah, no, 100%. And I feel like it's so cool because I'm so head in the clouds. And sometimes like what I say, you're able to like bring back to reality. So like what you're saying really embodies like what I'm saying, and it gives it like structure.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to understand that the integration is it's quiet. You know, it's not necessarily this big billboard, you know, above your head, you know, or anything like that. It's just noticing what you no longer chase. You know, the things that once triggered you notice that you don't chase those things anymore. That's a quiet integration. That's the quiet shift. You know, you're choosing yourself. You can rest without the guilt. It comes back to the alignment and the hustle. You know, it's about alignment, not the hustle, and just letting something go with, you don't need a dramatic ending. You don't need to announce on social media that you're leaving because you're pissed off at this person or whatever. You don't need it, you know?
Well, and those moments too, like when you feel discomfort or anger or like any of those things, like I feel like that's actually like confirmation. It's confirmation that you're growing, and you should be proud of that instead of being like, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. When this discomfort comes up, when you get uncomfortable, when you have uncertainty, right? That is proof that you weren't where you were, and you're growing, and you have some choices, right? 5 of Swords. You have some choices to make. Swords are mind. So when you make these choices, I would like to say that there's no wrong path, but when you make these choices, you're growing. You are literally becoming her. And you can see it, how you see it is what is. So you can see it as, man, I failed, or this is a crock of shit. They don't know what they're talking about because they said it was going to be XYZ and this feels really icky. Or you can see it as, yeah, this is super uncomfortable. Bro, this doesn't feel very good. It's getting a little hot in here. But how cool that I'm so aware of my space and my mind, that I'm making these decisions that I would have swept under the rug a year or 2 years ago. I would have ignored it until it went away and reared its little head again a year later or 6 months later. Like, this is what I'm saying, is that these moments of pain and grief and uncomfortableness confirm that you are moving forward. And if you see it as that, you, like you said, the weight lifts, or I think you said something about that, like where things change for you.
Yeah.
You will physically feel better, even in the discomfort.
I know for me, I can tell after I've made huge decisions, you know, no matter what it's about, I get really, really tired and I get really, you know, foggy, and then my emotions are just flat and I don't have a lot of motivation. And at that point, I'm starting to recognize that when I start to feel that way, something is going to hit me, whether it's an idea or something's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just my nervous system is just regulating, and I feel like your body kind of integrates things before your mind really shows up and tells you why. The reason I say that is because last night was a prime example. I was really tired. You know, I had a conversation about my future, and I was so excited, but I just felt really tired. And then when we were on our last meeting and Alyssa was talking about texting me, literally it was 2:44 a.m. And so I woke up at 4:30 and responded to her because I woke up with like this like nagging feeling that, and this is just how my brain works for those listening, that I need to create an app. I need to create an app for the cocoon butterfly method and for my soul word story method. I don't fucking know how to do that, but I know I need to do it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I was so tired last night, and it's starting to become a pattern. When I feel that tired, I wake up inspired to do something else.
Wild. That's so fucking cool.
And so I texted Alyssa. I'm like, well, I need to make an app. I don't fucking know how it's going to be done, but I'm going to do it.
Well, I love us.
Like, yeah, and I just know that when I feel that way, that there's something bigger going to happen.
Yeah. And how fucking cool that growth, right? And how many versions of you had to die for you to become the person who could be so fucking aware of yourself that you know, oh, I'm tired. I have that emotional drain. Some shit's gonna come to me at some point. Like,
yeah,
that you can even catch a pattern like that. What the fuck?
Well, yeah, before I would have just attributed it to, oh, it's been a long day type thing. It's a different kind of exhaustion, though. It's not the physical exhaustion that when you've been up since 3 a.m. and you've been running. It's a completely different type of exhaustion. I wasn't physically tired. I was just, I knew my brain needed to rest.
Yeah.
You know, it's a completely different type of tired.
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. And actually, I've been up in between like midnight and 4 a.m. for like the last week and beyond that. So I didn't get any intuitive hits, though. It's fine. It's fine. They were all going to you. I'm just kidding. I feel it coming. It's in my bones.
Well, you actually got yours the night before.
I did.
When you needed to change everything.
Oh, that's true. I did. Okay, so I did get... This week I did have intuitive hits. See, this is why we make lists, to recognize the things that are so subtle that we don't even see it for what it is. What Emma is talking about is that I literally, all of a sudden, got this hit that I was supposed to change the name of my studio, which has been Self Love Studio Washington since its inception. And now I'm coming out with a physical location, like all by myself in home studio, and I got this hit and I was like, I gotta change. But guess what that means? That means every website that was created and every URL that I purchased for 2 years is kaput. Like, it's out of here. And I had to purchase new ones. But and here's the thing, I felt psycho. I felt like a psychotic person. I literally, it came to me, and then within an hour, I was like, because M does my tech. For everyone who needs to know, M can do your tech. I was like, I gotta change everything. It's gotta change. To the point where even the platform of where my website is no longer where it is. It is completely
it's not serving you anymore.
It's not serving me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just think it's funny. That is such a huge shift for me. And we're sitting here talking about our lists and our subtlety and how subtle they are. And it didn't even hit me that was one of them.
But listen, the integration is alignment, because look where we are now, because it was literally, you texted me and I said, okay, you need to do this. And you texted back and said, okay, it's done. The place that we're in right now.
And I never did that. If you told me that even like 6 months ago, 3 months ago, if you had told me to do that, the version of me who I was then would have been like, okay, yeah, like maybe next year, or maybe, you know, when this changes, or maybe when the $100,000 cut, you know what I mean? Like, I would have never been like, okay, and I know that for a fact because you have told me about it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
times over the last year.
In the last month, you've said no.
And I've said no.
I need way more money in order to do that. But, the integration is alignment. Like, we are so aligned within our circle and even between the two of us.
Yep.
That you're like, okay, I need this done. And I said, okay, here's what it's going to take. I will do this
and
for you. I need this, I need this, I need this.
Say less.
And here we are.
Yep. How fucking cool. And I hope that if you're listening, that as we talk through these things, you're like, oh my God, if they can do it, I can do it too. Or you hear something that's like, and said, I now I gotta create an app. Like, whatever you're like, how crazy is that? I said that when I text M, I was like, why am I even changing the name of my studio? Okay. And I'm going to say this. I'm getting soul chills right now. Self-Love Studio Washington became Let's Get to the Good Stuff. What? Like, what? I don't know. I don't know either, guys. I don't know either. It came to me. That's what it is. And that's what I'm following. And I just had this knowing that's what it was supposed to be.
Okay, listen. Uncertainty. It comes back to the uncertainty. Uncertainty often will show,
because I'm soul chilling.
It will show up right before the integration, and it's that space where the old identity dissolves and the new one settles. So you don't know why you got that download. You're a little bit uncertain.
Oh, I called myself psycho. That's not uncertain. That's like feeling like you're batshit crazy. That is a batshit crazy thing to do.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay, and I have to say right now, oh my God, you can cut this if you want to, but I have to say, I have been super connected lately, and over the past few days, so my mom was a smoker and she died from a heart condition, but also emphysema. She was on oxygen, and just now when we're talking about that, I got soul chills and I could smell cigarette smoke. I don't smoke. I'm the second person in this apartment. And I'm like, I literally know my mom is here. So you can cut that if you want to, but
I'm not going to.
Okay,
I'm not
I have
going
to tell
to.
you because I'm like, I literally am like, I know that she's here and celebrating with me right now and giving me confirmation, because I literally I can't smell it anymore, but in that moment, it smelled like someone was sitting next to me smoking. What? Crazy. Anyway.
Okay, so I have to also tell you, a mutual friend of ours who happened to also be on the call with us earlier today. I don't have permission to give her name or anything.
Okay.
I get a text from her earlier today. And it said, David says you're cute and he wants to know, where are the mice?
Oh, I know who it is now.
And it was just wild to me because I don't know, it was just the timing of it was just, at first I was like, this is interesting. But I was also intrigued because of the fact that last night or early this morning, I woke up and I needed to create this app, and then I get this text just kind of out of the blue. So you smelling your mom's cigarettes is not weird to me. Neither is getting a text. It's intriguing to me. Neither is getting a text when David was on my mind today.
Yeah.
Because of the app stuff,
Wild.
So I'm just saying.
Wild. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I just feel like the deeper we get into what we're doing in this episode, I get it. It's all over the place. Hopefully people can follow and just enjoy the craziness that is Emmy and Thylene. But I feel like the deeper I get into my awareness and my knowing, the more signs and synchronicities I see and realize how not random they are, like how incredible they are. And I don't know, who knows what will come in the future. Maybe I'll start understanding more of it and I'll be able to translate for people. I don't know. We'll see what.
Yeah, you honestly, you never know. And just let me backtrack a little bit. When I said, where are my mice? I think we'll have to get into that a little bit later. But before David passed away, he was writing a book called The Tournament of Mice. And so after he passed, I helped Alyssa finish the book. It was just a few pages away from being finished. And Alyssa got a download from David after he passed that there's going to be 2 more books. So there's going to be 3 total. And I have the next 2 outlined books. And when I shared them with Alyssa a while back, was blown away because she said this is exactly what David wanted them to be. And I wrote these on my own, and I had no idea.
Because you were channeling him.
And so that's where the mice come in. So he was a very big Narnia fan. Again, we talked a little bit about that with the lion and things like that. But that's why he's wondering where his mice are. You know, because I think he's trying to tell us, hey, get your asses in gear and write the next 2 fucking books. Because you said you would.
Hurry the fuck up.
Yeah.
Decide. Those are the decisions that are coming out in the cards. Like, these are decisions that you have to make now to take in, get clear, get your mind clear for the new year so that you are able to align with the things that you get clear about, and you emotionally align mind and heart with what you want. And I promise you, it might not be exactly how you saw it in your head, but it'll be better. And this is it's so funny because we always say, I think the 3 of us, me, you, and Alyssa, this or something better constantly, because I can accept this because this is like as far as my brain understands. But the something better is the alignment with the universe and how massive it can get. We can't even see that. And then when it happens, we're like, oh, what? Like, that's wild. Like, I didn't expect that. People do amazing things, right? Create new cars. They freaking airplanes fly in the fucking sky. Big, massive things happen that we didn't think were possible. So if you just stay in that understanding that this or something better, I promise your year is going to like blow you out of the water. I promise you.
Yeah. And you know, thinking back on the message I got to make that app, and then I got the message about, you know, where are my mice? I think David wants an app. So I need to learn how to make apps so I can create an app.
And then teach me, because I've been trying to figure that out for a while. I got a couple ideas that I've been sitting on that I'm like, if I just could create an app. Which is so crazy because how many umpteen apps are there? So if you're listening to this and you know how to create an app, like, send us a message. Because I would love to connect.
I'm gonna learn it.
Good, as you should. Okay, so all of that was so, I would say, in alignment. Like, all of that was intuition and channeling. None of that was the plan. I have bullet points and I'm like, Thylene, stick to the bullet points. And I just can't, because I'm so passionate and I'm so connected with what we're trying to say that it's almost like word vomit. Like, I have to get it out. So I do want to do a couple of suggestions that will allow you to kind of lock in for the now and getting clear about where you're going. Write down the identity that you are choosing, right? Not the old patterns, not what you didn't get. Write down who you are becoming. And when you do that, you align mind, body, and soul with the version of you that you want to be. And that is what allows you to become. And then write one thing that you are no longer available for. This is something that we did in our group that was incredibly powerful. Is it a boundary? Is it a pattern that you've been repeating? Is it a person? I don't know. Are you shaking your tree and you need a few people to fall out because they can't come with you into 2026 because they don't bring the right energy into the collective? And then one sentence or affirmation. For me, you can look it up, you can chat it. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to sit and be quiet. It can be. You can sit and be quiet and receive whatever comes to you and write that down if that's where you are. But if you're not there, go on ChatGPT, go on Google and look through affirmations and pick one that feels good to you and that aligns with that first step of writing down the identity that you're choosing, the person that you're becoming. So those are a couple of things that you can do to call in what you're becoming for the new year and focus on that and not what you lost or didn't get. I don't do New Year's resolutions anymore, Em. I don't know about you, because when I do New Year's resolutions, I'm looking at what I didn't accomplish in this last year, and I'm writing down everything that I didn't get that I still want. And when I do that, I'm like, man, I can't believe I didn't do that again. No more. For me, I write down what I want to embody. I don't focus on what didn't happen or what I don't have. I focus on getting clear about who I am, who I want to be, and where I want to go.
Yeah, I don't do New Year's resolutions either. I think we talked about this maybe once before, but
I think we did a little bit, yeah.
I don't like New Year's resolutions because, like you said, it kind of gives me a feeling of defeat if I say I'm going to go to the gym every day and, say the weather's bad and I can't get there. Well, I've already fucked that up.
But have you ever, unless you do go to the gym every day, great, I'm happy for you. But that's so hellacious for me, like laughable, because that's not who I am. But I would potentially go to a yoga studio, or what I'm getting ready to do is when I move into this house, I want to put a pole in the garage and learn tricks and stuff, and that'll keep me in badass shape, right? And I can do that from the comfort of my home for free 99, other than the purchase of the pole, right? Like I can do that daily with no monthly cost. What I'm saying is alignment is what's meant for you, not all of these, I don't want to say societal, but like normal goals that people set about food, gym, like eating habits. It's okay. That is sometimes it's just so far out of alignment for you. If you just pick something that is bringing you joy and in alignment, you will get there so much faster than setting a goal that you're going to do maybe for a week, maybe a month, I don't know. And then you fall into old patterns because that's not aligned with you. You're trying to be someone that's not who you want to be. Do the steps that I just gave you. Pick your identity. Who do you want to be? And then figure out, I don't want to say reverse engineer, but kinda, because you should never be enforced, because you want to do things that feel good. So pick actions that align with your emotional and mental clarity and intent, like what feels good, what brings you joy. And it's easier said than done, for sure. Because why? Because it creates uncertainty. Right? Like, circling back, it creates this uncertain, unknown, and uncertainty and unknown creates fear, which freezes us, and our bodies that keep the score freeze up, and then all of your subconscious protections and walls come up. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing every January 1st. I'm going to go to the gym every day, blah, 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 and expecting a different result. Do you want to know how many years in a row the fucking gym has been in my New Year's resolution? Every fucking year that I can remember. Do you want to know how many times I actually signed up for a gym? Out of 10 years, let's say, maybe twice. Do you want to know how many times I actually went to the gym? I didn't. I paid for a whole year of a gym that I never touched. Like, at one point, you're going to laugh. I paid for the gym, and the gym had a tanning booth. And I would go tan and leave. Bitch, what?
Yeah, I had a gym membership, I think the year that David died, I went and signed up. Mm-hmm. And I think I went for, I don't know, a few months in the ice, the snow, the cold, and I was fucking miserable, but I showed up. And finally I'm like, no, this is
that does not bring you joy, Em.
No, it didn't bring me joy. And I feel like resolutions, they're just outdated and they feel pressurized. So for me, I think I'm just committing, and not necessarily at the beginning of the year. I am committing to putting what brings me joy first every day.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not specifying one thing. It's just, okay, today I'm going to watch a movie for an hour because that brings me joy. Okay, tomorrow that might be going shopping or something because that brings me joy. Whatever it is, even the little things, I'm just going to do what brings me joy, and I'm not going to let anybody disrupt that. Because that, to me, is attainable. And there's honestly nothing that I can think of that can stop me from doing that would make me feel bad. Because if I want to lounge around and do nothing, that's what brings me joy, and that's okay.
Fuck it. Yep. I think we gotta start wrapping, so I just want to take a moment to say that was a mind fuck for sure. I feel like I said the F word more in this episode than I have in a long time. But I feel like if this year changed you, honor that. You don't need permission, and you don't need another big breakthrough or this big massive goal. You just need to be. Like, you need to be with yourself. And one thing I feel very called to say is learn how to be in silence. We touched on this earlier, and it resonated with me, is remembering that there's so much going on around us that we don't get quiet enough. We don't sit with ourselves. And I hope that some of you will just sit and learn to just be, especially moms. As moms, we give and give and give, even when there's nothing left in the tank. And I guess I'm not asking you to become someone new.
Because who you are is already inside of you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm asking you to stop abandoning the woman, the person that you already are. Does that make sense? Like, you don't need permission, but we'll give it. You already are. And once you understand that, the walls, they start melting. Let this episode be the moment that you decide that you're not going to shrink back in. That you're not going to try to explain yourself or look for proof or continue to look outside of you. Choose and decide to be her now. Write out what that means for you. Get clear about who she is, who she already is, and just make a few boundary adjustments. Make a few adjustments where you take time to be quiet, sit and be you, and then follow joy.
Yeah, that was really your vibe check, because we forgot to check in
essentially.
With that. But thank you for your vibe check. Appreciate that.
You're so welcome. Do you have a vibe check?
I was just going to kind of echo those same sentiments, but what I was going to say is, if your skin is theoretically shedding, don't try to pull it back on.
Yeah, that actually is gross.
I kind of think of like a snake. They shed their skin and stuff like that.
In the year of the snake.
That's exactly why I said it. Just don't try to fit back into it, because it's time to just let it go and be uncertain, because complacency means you're not growing, and everything you have is already inside of you. So you just have to let that out and just know that where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. No matter what stage of your journey that you're in, that's where you should be, and you're on the right path.
Yes. And I do want to stress that no matter when you listen to this, obviously we're going to put it out, I don't know, whenever we put it out, but if you're hearing this a year from now when we're really famous and we've made millions of dollars and our podcast is like #1 on Apple and all of the things, if you're catching it then, you were meant to hear it then. You are in that space that you called the energy of this chaotic, eclectic episode. And you were meant to take something from this. Whether it's one piece or all of it, there was something you were meant to hear in this episode. And I just know that like I know. So, with that being said...
All right.
Awesome!
So awesome.
I love it! You guys are so great!
I know.
Yeah, that's for all of you. All of our followers and listeners.
That was not where I was going.
You're
being
great.
Very selfish with that. I was like, yeah, I am. Thanks.
Well, you are great. All right. Well, thank you everybody for sticking with us through this episode, and just remember you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform. So, until next time, just remember, somewhere there's a lion in a Hawaiian shirt cheering you on. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.